God of War Ragnarok has finally been teased, and I thought why not make a video where I state the things I'd like to see in this sequel. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. The first thing I like to see in the sequel is probably being able to use more weapons, and it's probably gonna happen. In the previous God of War games, we had a lot of weapon variety like Hermes' boots, Icarus' wings, the head of Helios, and many more that I can't really say because it will just lengthen the video so much. There was really that much weapon variety. I think it would be to the sequel's benefit if we brought in more weapons, as it could enhance the combat greatly. Don't get me wrong though, the combat in the latest God of War game is amazing and it's probably my favorite combat system in the whole series. But I think it can be made much better with even more weapons. The combat with the Leviathan Axe, Blade of Chaos and Atreus' arrows were done very well, and it was very satisfying to use these weapons in your arsenal. So could you imagine if we had even more weapons that were done this well? It would be very amazing. So yeah, this is something I would like to see. The next thing I like to see in the sequel is more variety in the boss fights, and I still think that there was variety in the bosses of this game, but the previous God of War games had more variety in their bosses. And I think that the God of War sequel should introduce more bosses to us, as it would enhance the overall experience and make it more exciting. In the latest God of War game, there was just too many trolls that appeared during the main story, which bogged down the experience of this game a bit. Sure, some of them fought different, but it would get tiring at times seeing a troll too often. There should have been another creature to fight more often. Like, you know, you'll be going through the main story and then suddenly you see a troll again. Yeah, it's just a bit tiring, you know. But the bosses in the latest God of War game were still very good in my opinion. There were so many good ones like Baldur, Heresilia, and all the Valkyries, which helped to overshadow the troll bosses. However, I still think the boss variety can be improved upon a lot in the next game, and it's something I like to see happen. Another thing I like to see in the sequel is us being able to replay boss fights. I get finishing off the bosses one time as part of the story experience, but I think it would not hurt to have an optional choice to replay the bosses, as some of the bosses were really fun to play, like Heresilia, the Valkyries, some of the Stone Ancients. Yeah, these type of guys. I know it's a really small thing to add, but I think it would help add to the overall experience of the game. The next thing I like to see in the sequel, I think is pretty much a given, and it's the traveling to the other realms. And I think we're gonna get this, you know, because I think Thor and all is gonna get involved, so we might have a snippet into Asgard and probably Vanaheim as well, cause you know they're very intertwined with each other. And I like to see how they design the worlds and then how this God of War gives their take on this type of Norse mythology in those regions. And I also love to see how the bosses and the creatures are designed there. You know, the ones that I normally know of Asgard is from the Marvel movie, and I like to see this God of War's take on it. And finally, I'm going to talk about the story points I like to see in the sequel. For one, I like to see more of Faye's past and get to know her more as a person, as we do not know that much about her. In those flashbacks, we could also learn more about the mythology of this world and more of how the Norse region works. I think we are gonna get this. I'm expecting it, and I think it's probably gonna happen. I would also like to see how Faye interacted with Kratos, as it could give us more backstory as to how Kratos came to Midgard, as it's still quite a bit of a mystery and it could be a very interesting thing to explore. And how it could also explore how both of them met. It would help to build Kratos more as a character, and it would also be very interesting to find out more about him, as we know Kratos is quite an interesting character. Last but not least, I'm very interested to see whether Kratos will die for good and if they would actually do it and how they would actually try to pull it off. As you know, the mural that was shown to us at the end of the God of War game 2018, it was quite suspicious and it really looked like it was Kratos. And now there's a lot of speculation going around whether it was really him or was it somebody else. And I like to see this, how it's gonna turn out, and I think we're gonna find out. And I can't wait to see the end result of that. Alright guys, that's about it for this video, and that was some of the few things I would like to see in God of War Ragnarok. What do you guys want to see in God of War Ragnarok? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to see what you guys would like to see. This is probably one of my most anticipated games I've ever had. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and with that being said, this has been 2367 Ruben signing out.